Today, we're diving into a topic that's straight out of a sci-fi thriller, but it's very, very real. We're talking about nanotechnology and what it means for the future of weapons.
So I want you to just think about this for a second. Imagine a weapon that can bypass every single safeguard we've ever built. A threat that just operates outside the lines of law and detection. Sounds like something from a movie, right? Well, it's not. Welcome to the world of nanotechnology. For years, ideas like self-replicating nanobots were pure science fiction. But as we're about to see, that line between fiction and a very real security problem is getting blurrier every single day. So here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll look at the core threat. Then we'll break down the science itself. We'll see how these weapons could actually work, explore the tricky dilemma of how this tech can both heal and harm, and finally, look at the race to find some solutions.
Okay, let's jump right in with a fundamental challenge here. We are talking about an invisible threat that completely changes the rules of the game.
So here's the really crucial point. Scientists can now design materials that are so tiny, they act exactly like the most horrific chemical weapons we've ever known, things like nerve agents. But, and this is a huge but, they aren't technically classified as chemical weapons under any treaty. They don't set off our detectors. And because they're so small, they can even get through standard protective gear like masks and suits.
To really get our heads around how this is even possible, we need to shrink our perspective. I mean, way, way down. Let's look at how this stuff is engineered at the actual scale of life itself. So, nanotechnology is basically the art of building things atom by atom, molecule by molecule. And what's truly revolutionary is that when you get down to this scale, the old boundaries between biology, chemistry, and physics, they just start to dissolve. It lets us create materials with properties we've never seen before. Just how small are we talking? Well, a nanometer is 1/1000th of a meter. To put that into perspective for you, the difference between a meter and a nanometer is about the same as the difference between the entire planet Earth and a single marble. It is almost impossibly small. And this right here shows you why that tiny scale is such a game changer for interacting with the human body. Look at this. Your own cells are absolutely enormous by comparison. A nanoscale device that's smaller than 50 nanometers can basically just waltz right into most of your cells. And if you get down below 20 nanometers, they can even slip past the blood-brain barrier. We're talking about precision engineering at a biological level. Okay, so we have this incredible science, but how exactly can it be twisted into a weapon that just sidesteps decades of international law? Before we dig into the mechanics, it's really important to remember what we're talking about here. This line is from a poem by Wilfred Owen, a soldier who witnessed the absolute horror of gas attacks in World War I. It's a chilling, brutal reminder of the human cost of these kinds of weapons, a history we really risk repeating in a new, high-tech way. All right, time for a quick biology lesson. Every single time you move a muscle, a chemical called acetylcholine sends the go signal. Then an enzyme called choline esterase acts like an off switch, and it cleans up that chemical so the muscle can relax. It's a perfectly balanced on-off circuit that happens constantly. Now, watch what happens when a nerve agent, or a nanotech version of one, gets in there. It physically blocks that off switch, that enzyme. So the go signal, acetylcholine, just builds up and up and up. The circuit gets frozen in the on position. This causes violent convulsions, then paralysis, and ultimately death by suffocation as your breathing muscles fail. So you see, the crucial takeaway is this. These nanoweapons can achieve the exact same horrific result as banned weapons like sarin gas, but they exist in this terrifying gray area. They aren't technically covered by the Chemical Weapons Convention, they're invisible to our current sensors, and they could make our protective gear totally useless. This all brings us to one of the most difficult challenges in modern science. The very same groundbreaking research that could be weaponized also holds incredible, incredible promise for humanity. I mean, just think about it. The exact same principle, designing a nanoscale particle to interact with specific cells in your body, is being used to develop revolutionary cancer treatments. We can use this tech to create smart delivery systems that literally hunt down cancer cells and deliver drugs right to them, leaving healthy cells alone. The line between a weapon and a cure can be perilously thin.
And this isn't some new, fringe concern that just popped up. The United Nations has been looking at these exact risks for a long time. In fact, this UNICRI report came out over a decade ago. The international community has definitely seen this coming.
So if the risks have been known for years, what can we actually do about it? In our final section, Let's look at how global experts are trying to get ahead of this emerging threat.
Well, the consensus is pretty clear. There's no single magic bullet. Traditional treaties just aren't enough on their own. The solution has to be a comprehensive one. You've got to update the old laws, create new ethical codes for the scientists doing the work, build a sense of shared responsibility, and, this is a big one, invest in defensive technologies, like nano-biosensors that can actually detect these new threats.
And the key word here is manage, not control. The goal isn't to shut down this incredible field of research. No way. It's to build a global culture of awareness and responsibility, making sure that as we unlock all the massive benefits of nanotechnology, we don't accidentally open a Pandora's box of new weapons.
Which leaves us with a final and pretty crucial question. This stuff isn't just for governments and generals anymore. As these tools become more powerful and more widespread, the responsibility really falls on all of us. The scientists who develop them, the policymakers who regulate them, and the public that has to understand both their incredible promise and their terrible peril.